going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Last video was just a short little video. I kind of went a little crazy in the shop. Some of you guys also follow me on Instagram as well. You will notice that I have basically tore down all my wooden shelves I had from there, going all the way across. I had wooden shelves going all the way to that corner. I tore them all down. Did not like them. Went ahead and put up all these shelves here. These are the steel shelves, the kinds you kind of find at the like Lowe's or Home Depot, other places as well. I actually got these from a local Atwoods. Just so happens I showed up on the perfect day. They were throwing these out, and they had them sitting on the side of their store or kind of in the back. We really couldn't see them from the street. For whatever reason, we drove around back because I was looking for something else. Seen them. They said I could have them as long as I tore them apart and hauled them off their property. So that's what I did. Definitely a big come up. But yeah, like I said, I spent the last week doing that. You can see out here as well. Keep spinning around on you guys, but a lot of junk I've torn out of here. A lot of cardboard, trash, old. Those are the old tires off my son's truck. I've already hauled off a bunch of stuff already. Still got a bunch of that there. You can see as well, I got a shelf back there. Still needs to be gone through, or my little table, I mean. Still needs to be gone through. A lot of stuff on that needs to be thrown away and gone through, as well as that bench and this bench. If you come out here, kind of give you a little shot of my, got my little fire pit over there. Got a bunch of cardboard and trash as well. It needs to be burned up. You know, I never realized how much stuff you accumulate over the years, especially when you're working on stuff and you don't throw anything away. You just stuff it off in a corner. Everything seems to get just built up to a point where you get overwhelmed, which is what happened to me. It's why I spent so much time tearing all this stuff out. But enough of that. I do have a few days before I go back to work. So I figured right now is a good chance to kind of, we're going to go ahead and change the oil in that car. Get that oil out, get some fresh oil put in it. I've got some new spark plug wires. Now I have a set of MSD 8.5 millimeters in the car, but they're the universal boots. I keep burning them. So, and 90-degree boots are just too sharp. And so I went ahead and purchased some Ford Racing with some 45 degree boots on there. See how that works out. I've also got a new fuel filter to put in front of that pump that's in the car. I've got a cheap one in it now. And the last couple times I drove the car, every once in a while the pump sounded like it was aerating a little bit. Now the fuel cell that's in the car, I did get off eBay, and it had that foam, the foam filter in it. And you know, after time, of course, we all know that that will deteriorate and start sending little particles of that foam through your fuel system, start clogging up the filter. But since then, I've already tore that filter out. I did it at a track one day because I was having a little bit of an issue, but I never changed the filter or tore apart and cleaned it. So I just went ahead and ordered another filter to put in front of the pump. Hopefully that fixes the problem. And I am also going to pull the 5-pound spring out of this wastegate. Go ahead and put the 10-pound spring in. Like I said, I want to dyno this car between 10 and 12 PSI to start off with. So, and it's got a 5-pound in it right now. I'm going to go ahead and pull the 5 out, put the 10 in. We'll get it tuned to that within a couple pounds, of course. And then take it out to the track, start having fun with it, slowly start turning it up. But first things first, I'm going to get up underneath the car, start draining the oil. All right, got all the old oil out. Fresh oil is in case anybody's oh, excuse me, wondering. I just run 2050 in these things. Just run regular Castrol 2050. It's what I run. Haven't had an issue with it. I also like to put Lucas oil stabilizer in there as well. That's just something I've always done, especially because most of my builds are junkyard builds. The Lucas gives me a little peace of mind, helps the oil stick to everything better. So that's just basically what I do. I know a lot of you all know that if you're changing oil, you're changing the oil filter. It's always a good idea to make sure that little, let's see what we got. That little O-ring comes off with the filter. I'm not gonna lie to you. Many years ago, changed the oil on one of my cars. Did not check. And the hardest thing to clean up is about 3 or 4 quarts of oil off your garage floor because you failed to make sure that little O-ring was off. Another thing too, if you can, if all possible, I like to pre-fill the oil filters. I know some cars you can't because the oil filter would be sideways, but straight up and down, you can definitely get that thing almost full. A little bit to the side, where some of them have a little bit of an angle. You're not going to fill them all the way up, but any little bit of oil inside those filters help. It also it helps decrease the amount of time the engine runs without oil pressure, which also brings me to my next point, or next thing is to, if you're going to do an oil change, it's always a good idea to run the car for a couple minutes prior to that. That way it's got oil all over the bearings, and when you do the oil change and you're waiting for the oil filter to pressure up, you're not running the car dry. But anyways, we got all that. Got the oil changed. Fresh oil is in. We're going to go ahead and fire up the car, let it run for a minute, and then we will pull the wheel off the front passenger side there and change out that spring in the wastegate. All right, we got her fired up. Let it warm up. Made sure I didn't have any leaks out of the oil filter. Just kind of listened to it run for a little bit. Sounds pretty good. As you guys can tell in the video, of course, she is a tad rich, but all that will get taken care of when we get it to the dyno. In case I haven't said it already, dyno day, October 16th, 9:30 a.m. About a day after I get home again. I will be making sure to say that plenty more times, that way everybody knows. Got my little peanut up here, hanging out. Got Jacob, he just got back from work. Really, really cool. You guys can thank Peanut. She's the one that wanted to see the video of me offshore. But she's the reason I did that. But anyways, had the car warmed up. I do need to check the oil in it again, but before I do that, I'm gonna go ahead and get underneath here, get this wastegate tore apart. We're gonna put the 10-pound spring in it, so if anything was to happen, the car just basically defaults back to 10 pounds. Right now it has a 5-pound in it, and I believe, I'm not 100% sure, but the rule of thumb is if it's got a 5-pound spring and you're using a boost controller, you can usually take that to 10. That's maxing it out. And I do eventually want to keep going from there. So right now we are going to tune the car to 10, between 10 and 12, run it, have some fun, and then slowly turn it up from there. So I'm just going to go ahead while the car is up right now, get this wheel off, get that wastegate apart, change out that spring, put the front end back on the ground, double check our oil, move to the back, change out our fuel filters, or fuel filter. And then by that time, should definitely be cooled off by the, yeah, she's still a little bit of warm in there. So by that time, she'll be plenty cooled off, and we'll change out our plug wires. But right now, let's get this wastegate apart and change out our spring. All right, wastegate spring is changed. We got the 5 psi spring out. We got the 10 psi spring put in. As you also seen too, we got the car jacked up. We went ahead and changed out our little fuel filter there. As a matter of fact, I got the old one over here. I'm going to show you guys what that looks like real quick. If you can see inside this guy, there is some debris. A lot of it is from that. Let's see if I can set it down for you. There we go. There is a couple metal shavings. Now I drilled the tank out a while ago to fit a vent. Apparently I didn't get all the shavings out of that tank. You can see some of the black spots are actually from the foam. Here's the element itself. You can see all the foam particles stuck inside that element there, packed off in the bottom. So that little guy did its job. I definitely always recommend putting at least a filter before your pump and a filter after, or before your throttle body, to help catch any particles. You don't want anything getting in your fuel pump, and you really don't want to get anything inside your fuel injector. So at least follow manufacturer's recommendations. Let's just put it that way. I've also got about 90% of the plug wires installed on the car. Got my wife Ashley out here. She's going to help me record. I saved one more wire because I wanted to actually kind of demonstrate how I do it. I like buying the cut to fit wires and crimping them all on your own. Now I used to do it just using a razor blade and some side cutters there. some regular pliers, and some really cheap wire crimpers to kind of help do it. But since then, I've come across these little guys. I will put a link to these in the description. They are awesome. They've cut my wire making by half. But anyways, I'm going to hand this over to my wife and make our final wire. All right, so take our last wire right here. Come on over here. So here's our last plug wire. It's on the number 8. I'll put a link to these wires in the description as well. The Ford Racing wires, these are 9mm. But what I do is I'll go ahead, put it to the terminal you want. Basically just route it so everything kind of fits, kind of uniform. Now what I'll do is I'll run it to the terminal here, as you can see. And I'll go roughly a ½ inch longer. Because you're gonna have your little snap, it's gonna go on there, but you're gonna need room for the electrode inside. So I'll go about a ½ inch longer, take it, use your side cutters, cut the excess off, get that out of the way, pull this guy back around, open these up. Now these cool, they have the little cutter there, you just put your wire through roughly about the ½ inch. Make sure it's kind of lined up center. Just squeeze, release. Now if you take it, because they don't cut all the way through, as you can see the white in there, just kind of fold your wire over till you see it break. There you go. And then just continue to roll the wire around slowly, breaking the shielding inside. Now once that's broke all the way around, go ahead and take your wire, your cut strippers, put it back where you cut it, and just close it. Don't squeeze it all the way to release. That way you put your finger there and you can use these guys to help pull it off. And you can see it does not damage the wire in any way. Really cool. Now, make sure you got this thing lined up the way you want. So you just gotta come through here, grab your guy and fold it straight back. Then you grab this little guy here, put it on. Now I don't go any farther than the edge of what gets crimped. If you go farther than that, then this will mushroom out or whatever, and it makes it really hard to put the boot on. So go about until it's flush there. Grab your regular pliers, just put it on there, squeeze it so it's flat. Kind of makes it easy, holds that for you so you can get set up. Go ahead and open up your pliers again. Make sure you're going the right direction. Just line it up to where it's flush. So your little tab here is flush with the out crimper of the pliers. Start off slow, make sure everything's lined up. As you can see, just squeeze till it stops, releases, and as you can see there, it's got a really nice crimp around your spark plug wire. The core, as you can see, is just on the back side of that, so you got good contact here. Take your little boot, and I like to use dielectric grease. Just put a small amount, as you can see, inside that hole. That's all you need. And now what that does, it helps when you go to push this guy in. So I like to start off this back edge here, push into the boot. Whoop. You can see, start off the back edge and just kind of roll into it and then push. You don't have to twist or anything like that, just push straight in. Then if you can see on the inside, make sure it all lines up. You just watch the inside of there. And I'll show you if you can see the inside. See the inside there? That's it. And you can take it, run it over however you want or however you got it set up. I don't know if you can hear it, but snaps into place. And that's it. That's all I do for the plug wires. Now I've changed all of them except for this neat little MSD coil wire. I'm gonna go ahead and leave that one MSD. Nothing wrong with that guy. Go ahead and put these little guys back on. Now these are just press on. I will eventually weld them to the valve covers, but for right now, press them in just seems to work out just fine. Go ahead and hook this guy back up. So now that we have all of our plug wires done, let's remove some of this stuff. Fire it up. Make sure everything's good to go. Don't need any of this stuff rattling off, falling in the engine compartment, down in there where it'll be lost forever, or at least till the next time I have to yank this thing out. Which I hope isn't for a while. Now if you guys can see here, these are the boots that were on it. Some of them are good, but they're straight. There's universal, you're supposed to be able to put it in there and bend it any which way you want, but as you can see, I kept getting close. There's a misfire right there. I just kept burning them, even with these guys on there. Now if you look down in here now, these ones I really like. As you can see, they're all 45 away from each one of the runners. You can see down in here, all the way away. There's at least a 1/4 inch gap in between them all the way around. Definitely much farther away than those ones were. And now, let's fire this thing up, let it run for a minute. Oh, so another thing, changing that filter out, that fuel pump sounds way better. Doesn't sound like it's aerating the fuel. All right, well, got everything changed out. We got the oil changed. So we got new oil filter. Gone ahead and changed our spark plug wires. Got rid of the burnt ones. We have got a new Wastegate spring from the 5 to the 10 psi spring. We've also went ahead and changed our fuel filter before the fuel pump. So now we're just that much closer. So when I get home next time from work, to getting this thing on the dyno and see what she'll make on 10-12 psi, I know I've said it again, and I will continue to say it, that October 16th, 9:30 a.m., we will be taking this to the dyno. And as soon as we get finished there, I will be editing and uploading. I'm excited. Can't wait to see what this thing makes. Can't see what we do. You know, like I said before, 10, 12 PSI to start off with. Have some fun with the car. Get to know it. Take it to some testing tunes. Play around with it. Slowly turn it up from there. And just basically have fun. Of course, then too, we'll be working on other projects around the shop. So, but as you guys can see, it is dark outside. It is getting late here. So I'm going to end this video right here. I want to say thank you guys for hanging out. Hope you enjoyed the video. Again, I will put the link to my pliers or my little crimping tool, these spark plug wires, and that fuel filter. I will put links to those in the description. Kind of help you guys out. Again, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for hanging out. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you're new, please hit that subscribe button for me. Continue to help me build this channel. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.